All right. And both that morning equally lay. So as I have already told you that the yellow woods represent that it was the season of autumn in America at that time when the poem was written, right? So the autumn season is also the season of fall when the leaves fall, right? All the trees are left without leaves, only branches are present. This is it was the season of fall. So in the morning when he was standing at the junction of the two roads where the roads were diverging, both of the roads equally lay. Equally lay means a lot of leaves were had fallen on the roads and the ground was totally covered with leaves. All right. In leaves, no step had trodden black. So, looking at the leaves, he could find out that no one had traveled that day on any of the two paths because he could see that there were no marks present on the leaves that had fallen on the ground on the two roads. Because if someone had gone from there on a horseback, someone had trodden, then some black marks would have been present on the leaves. The leaves would have been disturbed a bit, showing signs of somebody traveling. But no one had traveled that day. So basically, this thing has been pointed out to tell you that the problems that one faces, because on that day he was trying to find out that which way is better for me to travel. But now, since leaves had covered the ground so much, so it was very difficult for him to decide, right? Which path should I take for traveling? So this can in our life signify that some situations are there in our life where it becomes very difficult for us to decide a lot of unclarity is there in our mind, if I choose one or the other one, right? So this is what the poet is trying to signify, that sometimes when we are trying to make a decision, then we cannot make up our mind easily on a particular thing because we have a lot of doubts in our mind. So the doubts that a person has while taking a decision, this doubt has been signified in this line, that the leaves had covered both the roads, and because of that, it was difficult to see that which path was better, right? So this is just hinting that a doubt that comes in a person's mind while he or she is making a decision. All right. Oh, I kept the first for another day. So now this line is telling us that the poet has left the first one. He's saying that he kept the first for another day. That's maybe some other day I come back to the first one. So basically, we are getting to know that he took the second path, the second passage that was there. So basically, he took the road that was less traveled by, right? So he was brave enough to choose a path that many people did not follow. He took the unconventional path, right? Just like I gave you the example that some career options are present which many people do not take because it is a bit tough, it is quite adventurous, right? They take the safe path that is present. But the poet over here, he left the first one which was frequently traveled by. Instead, he took the second one, the second passage, which wanted weir, which was very grassy, and that passage also had equal amount of challenges, right? Yet knowing how way leads on to way. So now he is saying that when I took the second passage, I knew that maybe I will not be able to return to the starting point and start my journey again. I doubted if I should ever come back. How way leads on to way means how life keeps on taking us from one place to another. So basically, it means that once we make a decision, then the control goes away from our hands. Then it is life that dictates the situation to us. It keeps on taking us from one place to another, and we just have to go with the flow, right? We have to brave the challenges and we have to keep going with the flow. For example, if you have taken science as a subject and now you have studied, you have done your intermediate, then you take up engineering. Now after you have done engineering, now if you think now I should study commerce, then it becomes very tough, right? So it basically means that it is now useless, it is now futile to return back. So this is what the poet is also saying, that once you take a particular decision and leave one path and choose the other path, then what happens is that when you take away, then that way, that path leads to another path, then it leads to another path, right? Then you keep on progressing on the same passage and you keep on moving ahead in life. It is very difficult for you to turn back and return to the starting point and start afresh, right? It is not an easy task, it is not an easy job to do. So the poet has his doubts that now I don't think I will ever be able to come back. So he doubted that now, since I have chosen one path, now I will have to travel on it. Will have to face all the distance bravely, and I will have to succeed on this path only. Now I will not have the opportunity to come back to the starting point and again make a decision and again choose the other path, right? So he is saying that although I am leaving the first one for another day, that maybe some other day I may be able to travel on that path, but I doubt that I would be able to ever come back over here. Because in life, once we start traveling on one direction, then one path leads to another, and then it leads to another, and we have to keep on moving in the forward direction. There is hardly any opportunity for us to come back, right, to the starting point. All right. Now we come to the fourth stanza. Yes, Rishit.
I shall be telling this with a sigh.
Yes.
Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Yes. So now the poet is saying that I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. So now the poet is saying that in future, when I will be old, when I will be a mature person, right? When I will be very experienced, then I will be telling this to other people, right? With a sigh. With a sigh means with a bit of regret that I was not able to travel on the other path. I was not able to see that if I took the other decision, if I took the other path in life, then how my life would have been, right? This curiosity to know that if I took the other decision, then how would I have been living at the present moment? How my life would have been? What kind of challenges would I have faced if I had chosen the other path, right? These kinds of questions will always keep on arising in the poet's mind, and he will be feeling a bit of regret that he was not able to experience both, right? He was not able to experience both the you can say both the paths, both the roads, traveling on both the roads he could not experience. So basically, that is why he will feel a bit of regret that he could not see how his life would have been if he had chosen the first path. Somewhere ages and ages hence means when he is mature, he is old, then at that time he will be thinking about all these things and he will be telling to the people around him that at that time I made this decision and see how I am today and what I could not be, right? If I had taken the other path, then my life could have been different. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. I already told you that he took the road that was less traveled by. because he took the second path, which was still very grassy, means nobody had traveled on it. So naturally, the grass was still very lush and green, and it wanted wear. Means if someone keeps on walking on a ground, then the grass becomes dead, right? Because it keeps on getting trampled and trampled. So this was still very grassy and it wanted wear. So he took the less traveled path, and he's saying that has made all the difference, right? So means all the difference that has come in his life, all the changes that he has come in his life, that has changed his personality, his character has been developed. All this has happened because of the decision that he has taken. So the poet is basically owning his decision. He is respecting his decision. It is not that he is regretting that, oh, I took a very wrong decision. No, it is not like that. He is embracing it fully. He is saying that that has made all the difference in my life, that whatever I am today, whatever changes that has come into my personality, whatever I have become as a person today, it has all to do with the decision that I have taken in my life. So he is accepting, he is embracing his decision, but at the same time, as a human being, we also try to visualize things, right? We try to imagine things, that what could have happened if I had taken the other decision, if I had tried to lead the way in the life in a different manner, then where I would have been, what would I have been doing, right? So this curiosity that an individual has in his mind, in his heart, this is what the poet is trying to signify, that there will be a small regret in my heart, that I was not able to see that if I traveled on the other path, then where I would have gone, where life would have taken me. Understood? So this is quite a philosophical poem which tries to show us that there are two different paths available to an individual at different stages of life, and it is now up to us to take the decision that on which path we want to go. And then whichever path we take, we should try to embrace it, we should try to respect our decision, right? And we need to be brave enough to face the challenges that come in our way, instead of crying that, oh, I made a wrong decision, I should have taken the other path, now shall I go back? Because there is no such opportunity available afterwards. Once we have chosen a particular path and we are moving forward on it, then we should be brave enough to embrace it and face all the challenges with a lot of courage and keep on moving in the forward direction. Understood? This is the gist and the crux of the poem.